I don't understand that. I mean, from the streets, how does a person get away with that for over 20 years? How do you do that? All the complaints. I mean, like I said, I was a kid and heard about this dude.
You're hearing from a prisoner who says he's innocent, questioning why more hasn't been done to hold a powerful KCK police captain accountable. Roger Golubski has been the focus of numerous KCTV5 reports, but he refuses to speak with us.
He has been accused in court documents of sexual assault and being nothing more than a vengeful thug with a badge.
Here's investigative reporter Angie Racono.
Golubski's name first surfaced about 4 years ago when an innocent man was released from prison. Golubski is now an accused rapist, and our continued reporting reveals families question if he's connected to the murders of poor black women. Tonight, you'll hear from a prisoner who questions what will it take to look into Golubski's old cases. Robert Diaz was shot and killed inside his car at 40th and Minnie. His autopsy revealed 7 gunshots. It was dark. No one called police for at least 10 minutes. Doors left open, headlights on, glass on the ground, then eventually sirens. Ahmon Mann tells his version of what happened next from Lansing prison. What was it like when they picked you up and arrested you?
I didn't know what it was for. When I came in, I asked him, was it, what was this for? Like drugs? And he said, murder. I'm like, murder?
Ahmon Mann says he was a drug dealer back then, the guy with the money, not a killer, and claims there was no motive connecting him to the victim.
I never knew him. I never knew him. What's up, stuff like that. But besides that, I never had a conversation with this dude. I didn't know who he was. No, none of that.
Did they offer you a deal at any point before you went to trial?
My grandmother said if you didn't do it, don't make any deals, don't do anything. So I told him off the flip, I want to go to trial. There was no evidence against me at all, period, just besides this witness. So I was really pretty confident that I would have been going home.
There was no physical evidence connecting Ahmon Mann to the case, no fingerprints on the car, and his clothing was tested, but investigators didn't find any blood. But there was one eyewitness who pointed to Mann, a teenager named Lauren Artis, a rival from the streets. The jury believed him, and Ahmon Mann was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for 25 years. Our story takes its first turn with his handwritten letter sent to Mann in prison. It comes from that eyewitness and rival. It's notarized, meaning an official verified the identity of the person writing the statement. It's dated May 1st, 2011. I claimed to be a witness to a murder on the Ahmon Mann case when I wasn't. I testified in open court because I was forced by detectives to. I want to retract my statement because I feel guilty about what I have done, and I feel like I was wrong. What did you think when you got that letter and you saw him saying that?
I was just happy that he was just telling the truth, and I thought I would just go home. I don't know much about the law.
Ahmon says the pieces in his head clicked. He knew the detectives, Roger Golubski and Terry Ziegler. If you look closely at KCTV5 file video, both detectives are at the scene. Golubski is in the tan sports coat, Ziegler in black. Their names are on the witness statement of Lauren Artis, where he's asked about the car. Question: what color do you remember it being? Answer: it was either green or red. A few pages later, he's questioned about what he did next. Answer: and by then, after they ran, after I seen them ran, I started running myself. But the story changes depending on the detective's questions. Maybe Lauren Artis doesn't run. Maybe he investigates the dead body. Question: okay, did you go up to the car to look in the car before you took off? Answer: yes, sir. The notarized letter recanting Lauren Artis's key testimony never prompted a court hearing, which is why we recently interviewed Ahmon Mann by phone from Lansing Prison. Years roll by.
I have nightmares about this stuff.
And then Lamont McIntyre accuses this same detective, Roger Golubski, of fixing a case and pressuring witnesses out of revenge.
Yes, I was praying and hoping that it did, because it wasn't like it was a little different. It was like the same exact thing. You know, a witness being told what to say, and yeah, I was really hoping that it would affect me.
It didn't. If you were wondering what could make a powerful detective hate Ahmon Mann, Mann says he knows. He was dealing drugs near Golubski's daughter's house.
Well, because we were selling drugs out of the house, you know, and his grandkids was there or whatever. That's all I can really think of.
I just don't want to hear it no more.
Ahmon Mann has watched as people have stepped forward with terrible accusations.
Nobody cared, so that didn't matter.
Including sexual assault, questioning if Golubski played a role in the deaths or cover-ups of their loved ones.
She was strangled and she was left in the alley off of 10th and Walker. She was murdered.
Eric Calvin questions Golubski's role in his sister's death and investigation. Rose Calvin's case has been on our radar for years.
John Calvin.
Her brother is in prison, claims he's innocent, and the real killer agrees. We know because we interviewed him.
He ain't do nothing. I did it.
The FBI is digging into the cold case of Rhonda Tribune. She was beaten and ran over by a car. The family says Golubski is a target.
He is the common denominator from all those cases.
It's time that you do your job the way we see fit.
Rallies call for Golubski to be held accountable, demanding a Department of Justice investigation. And Ahmon Mann just sits in prison, shaking his head.
I'm still here. I almost did all this time for nothing. No evidence on me whatsoever, period.
So
why is it so easy to convict you and so hard to get out? I don't understand that.
He tells us his case was recently in the hands of Wyandotte County's Community Integrity Unit, which reviews old cases. Every member of that unit was recently fired following secretly recorded conversations.
You love genocide.
No, I mean, you know, because that would solve so many of our problems.
It revealed troubling beliefs by the people who were supposed to bring accountability and justice to people like Ahmon Mann. What do you think of the justice system now?
I think it sucks. I really hate it. I really hate it.
It's unclear if Golubski has ever been interrogated by authorities, but he has been questioned in a civil deposition connected to the Lamont McIntyre case, where he pled the Fifth Amendment more than 500 times. And that's the amendment that protects you from incriminating yourself. Angie Riccono, KCTV5 News.